Good evening and welcome to the June 27th meeting of the Florissant City Council. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Shildroth.
Here.
Hanky.
Here.
Pagano.
Here.
Schmidt. Siam. Lee. Jones. Egan. Caputa.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the meeting minutes of June 13th, 2016? Hearing none, Councilman Jones moves to approve the minutes, seconded by Mr. Lee. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is a Beautiful Home Awards. Mayor Schneider will present the awards along with Terry Ryder from the Citizens Participation Committee. And I'd also like to thank the whole Citizens Participation Committee for doing this every year.
Mayor.
Oh, it's wireless.
Let's go this way. He's just called all three down there.
You want,
I'd like the council to come up and join me.
You can leave me up here by myself.
it's yours.
Actually, I need to do that.
Terry?
Hi. On behalf of the Citizens Participation Committee, we'd like to congratulate all the winners, and for that matter, we'd like to congratulate all the nominees. So we're just going to start with Ward 1, 1470 Ranchwood, Dan and Bonnie Flair. Can you turn around? Can you just... Ward 2, 815 Naomi Avenue, Julie and James Peterson. Ward 3, 210 Raymond, Charles and Catherine Lawson. Ward 5, 355 Graham, Donna and Chris Ormsby.
Oop, we need a 4.
I skipped Ward 4. I'm sorry. Ward 4, 2795 Radcliffe Drive,
There you go.
John and Helen Talat. That's on Ward 5. I skipped Ward. Now we're ready for Ward 5. 355 Graham, Donna and Chris Ormsby. Okay, I guess they're not here. Moving on to Ward 6, 1089 North New Florissant, David and Judy Bird. Ward 7, 1195 St. Florence Drive, Ward and Carolyn Gillespie. Okay, Ward 8, 1335 Durhacky Road, Marty and Phyllis Massey. Ward 9, 3 Almont Court, Juanita Harder. Did I mispronounce it?
Oops.
And finally, we have the Mayor's Choice Award, also in Ward 5, 396 North Jefferson Street, Richard and Norma Jean Farrar. Yeah, let's bring everybody in for one picture.
Just peek your head through there, Mark.
Thank you.
As we're making back to our seat, I just wanted to thank the Citizen Participation Committee and Carol Mara and the Community Development Office for coordinating this effort. And this is a way to reflect on all the people in our city, and there's so many of them, that take great care of their property. And as you may know now, because of the ballot initiatives that we've had on the ballot, next to police enforcement, code enforcement is our #2 priority. And we appreciate all of those of you who give a good example to your neighbors and take great care of your property. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is hearing from citizens. This is a time to speak to the council on any issue not necessarily on the agenda for 3 minutes. This is not a question and answer period, and if you would like to speak to a council member or the mayor, please stay until after the meeting is over. If you are here to speak on a public hearing, please wait to speak when the public hearing is announced. Mr. Randy Johnston. Please hold the microphone sort of close to you.
Okay.
All right.
Want me to hold it a little bit closer?
Yeah. Just
Are
so
we
they can
okay?
hear. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to my 2 minutes. I know I have a bunch of orange shirts behind me, so in the interest of time, I will make it very brief. My name is Randy. I'm a crisis counselor for an organization called Places for People, and one of the things that we institute and operate is a Show Me Hope program, and it's for the people who were survivors of last year's flood. That's what our specialty is with this particular program, which is a FEMA-funded program. And what we do is basically we're going to be in your area, though I'm going to leave some information here for you all. But what we are looking for is anybody who still has some effects left over from the flood that we might be able to either do one of two things with. Either one, try to get them still some services that are available to them through Red Cross, Salvation Army, different organizations. And the other part of it is that as crisis counselors, we know that a lot of people have taken a lot of time in rebuilding their businesses, rebuilding their homes. The one thing they haven't really done is rebuild themselves. And now that the time has, what we kind of call the honeymoon period is over, where they've received a lot of help, now's the time that people get a lot of burnout, depressed over what might happen in the future, and we are here to assist either in a single, one-on-one situation or in a group counseling situation. All of our services are free, and everything is kept confidential. So I thank you very much for your time. I would just like to know where I might be able to leave these for you.
Hand them to our city attorney.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Johnson, will you do
Yes.
me a favor? And I'm going to back up to the very beginning. Would
Okay.
you just give me your address, please?
My particular
Yes.
address?
Yes, I need your name and address on public hearings, and I'm sorry I didn't ask.
Okay, it's 1231 Victory Drive.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Amy Harrison. Hi, please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Amy Harrison. My address is 695 Hargrove Lane in Florissant, and I'm here today to ask you to repeal the ban on pit bulls and other breeds of dogs. The reason being is that breed-specific legislation is ineffective and cruel, and I myself personally was attacked and almost killed by a dog as a 5-year-old. So my heart goes out to you, and I applaud you for trying to protect your constituents. However, I strongly feel that this is not the way to do it. Statistics show that it is not likely that you're going to be attacked any more or less by certain breeds. It was, in my case and with others, always the fault of the human, the owners. And without going on and on, I'll just say that compassion to animals is also compassion to humans, and that is what makes a great community. I hope that Florissant will continue to be a great community. I have purchased a home here recently, and I hope to have a beautiful, relationship here, and I really ask that you please, please repeal this bad legislation. We can do better than this.
Thank you. Karen Runk. Hi, again, please state your name and address for the
Yes,
record.
Karen Runk, 519 Redondo Drive, and I'm in Chesterfield. And I can't even top that. Wow, she made me cry. Sorry, I have to get my composure. That was very touching. Hello, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm here to speak about the ban on pit bulls. As you may be aware, Missouri House Bill 1811 was proposed last legislative session at the Capitol. It would have prohibited all breed-specific language in any animal laws statewide. It passed in the House overwhelmingly with 117 yes votes and only 17 no votes. When it got to the Senate, the Committee of Agriculture killed the bill. Senator Brian Munslinger, the chairman of the committee, stated that the House bill wasn't needed because there was already a state statute prohibiting breed bans. That statute is Missouri State Statute 67.140 regarding ownership of domestic animals, and that no laws or regulations to prohibit the statute, or to prohibit that. No political subdivision of the state, nor any local government, city or county, or any agency, authority, board, commission, department, or officer thereof shall enact any ordinance or promulgate or issue any regulation, rule, policy, guideline, or proclamation describing the relationship between persons and domestic animals as other than persons may or can own domestic animals. Basically states that you can't say that someone can own a dog and someone else can't based on the breed of the dog. I know it's a kind of a flimsy thing, but that's what he brought up. The reason I'm bringing it up, sorry, she really touched me. My daughter was bit by a dog when she was younger too, so it got to me. And my daughter was bit by a bigger dog, but it wasn't a pit bull. And it was a human fault. It wasn't the fault of the dog, so this is very close to my heart. With the state statute, I'm just asking that you please consider, because of the cost of possible legal action, Senator Muslinger also suggested that citizens file suits with their cities if there is a breed ban. I don't think any city wants that, and no citizen wants to do that too. Nobody wants to go to court over this. So hopefully we can look at responsible ownership and encourage that through good vicious dog ordinances and do away with the breed ban. Thank you.
Thank you. Oshna Schlummer, did I get that right? Hi, please state your name and address for the
It's
record.
Donna Slimmer. Sorry
Oh,
for the scribbling
sorry.
there. Good evening, Mr.
Your
Mayor
address,
and members
please.
of the City Council.
Ma'am?
I'm honored.
Can I have your address, please?
Oh, yes, 2612 Poe Avenue, Overland, Missouri,
All right, thanks.
63114. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I am honored to be here to speak to you this evening. My name is Donna Slimmer, owner of Slim's Pet Care. We currently have over 50 clients in the beautiful city of Florissant. We are here tonight in orange because orange represents animal cruelty awareness. I'm going to quote from the whitehouse.gov website. According to whitehouse.gov, research shows that bans on certain types of dogs are largely ineffective and often a waste of public resources and taxpayers' money. In 2000, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention looked at 20 years of data about dog bites and human fatalities in the United States. They found that fatal attacks represent a very small proportion of dog bite injuries to people, and that it's virtually impossible to calculate bite rates for specific breeds. The CDC also noted that the types of people who look to exploit dogs aren't deterred by breed regulations. When their communities establish a ban, these people just seek out new, unregulated breeds. And the simple fact is that dogs of any breed can become dangerous when they're intentionally or unintentionally raised to be aggressive. When dogs are forced to stay indoors, in basements, unsocialized, it causes exactly what the city is wanting to prevent. For all these reasons, the CDC officially recommends against breed-specific legislation, which they call inappropriate. As an alternative to breed-specific policies, the CDC recommends a community-based approach to prevent dog bites. And ultimately, we think that's a much more promising way to build stronger communities of pets and pet owners. Everything I have read to you this evening can be found at www.whitehouse.gov. Members of the City Council, our belief is that legislation should not be enacted to say what dogs people cannot have, but which people cannot have dogs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jack Runk. Hi, please state your name and address.
My name is Jack Ronk. I live at 519 Redondo in Chesterfield. Hello, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Jack Ronk, and I live in Chesterfield. I am here because I want the City of Florissant to repeal their breed ban. I'm going to read parts of a letter that was written to your Director of Public Works from St. Louis County Health Department in April of 2015. Your city ordinance defines a dangerous animal and has regulations regarding animals that meet this definition. Florissant's dangerous animal regulations are very similar to regulations in the county and across the state. These dangerous animal regulations adequately allow for the protection of citizens based on the actions of individual animal owner and each individual animal. These dangerous animal regulations will also protect responsible pet owners from prosecution of their family pets based solely on a pet's appearance or lineage. I have attached a 2012 report from the American Bar Association, which urges all levels of legislative bodies and governmental agencies to adopt comprehensive breed-neutral dangerous dog or reckless owner laws to ensure due process protections for all citizens and encourage responsible pet ownership. This report details some legal concerns with the wording of legislation similar to your regulations of pit bull dogs, and I believe it may prove helpful to compare your ordinance language to those in the report. I believe the City of Florissant already has similar legislation in place for dangerous dogs, but the regulation of pit bull dogs is too overbearing and ineffective. I would request that you, the Mayor, and the City's Council take a serious look at the existing ordinances. Consider the statistics I have laid out for you in this letter and a current example of this ordinance being used to remove family pet from a responsible resident of Florissant, then ask yourself why. After the inability to answer the question of why, I would ask that you consider repealing this section of the city ordinance and move forward in assessing each individual animal and pet owner, holding those individuals accountable for their actions under the dangerous animal provisions that already exist. If additional information or discussion is needed from me, please do not hesitate to contact my office. I have enclosed a business card with my direct office line, email, and cell phone number. Thank you for your time and consideration. This was authored by Drew Hain, Acting Program Manager at the St. Louis County Animal Control District. Further than that, I would like to say that puppies are born without any preconceptions of biting people, biting other animals, or being aggressive. They're taught that by the owners. Anything that we do should be governed towards those owners, not the dogs themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Peggy Mallenschlater. I think I might have watched that. Hi. You're going to have to pull that down. Would you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Peggy Mullenslater. I live at 1275 Sandy Drive. I'm here to speak for the pit bulls. I don't have a prepared speech, so I might just rattle on, but I wanted to make my voice known that this should be repealed. I think this should have been investigated farther. You need to talk to some of the animal groups that rescue pit bulls off the street and find out how caring and loving they can be. They're taught by their owners to be aggressive. They are not built that way. If you ever been around one, you would love it to death. They are very sweet, very kind, and very gentle. Thank you very much. I appreciate you hearing from the group, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Troy Rogers. Troy Rogers. Hi, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Troy Rogers. Live in 2 Courier and Ives Drive, Eureka, Missouri. I'm here tonight to discuss the breed-specific legislation in Florissant. I do not believe breed-specific laws are effective. First, the term pit bull is treated as a breed in the breed ban, when in reality pit bull is not a breed at all. It is an umbrella term that includes more than 30 breeds. The current breed ban defines a pit bull dog as a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, an American Pit Bull Terrier, an American Staffordshire Terrier, and then any mixed breed of dog which contains any of the above. It also defines a pit bull as any dog that looks like any of the above or mixed with any of the above. This concerns me deeply because there are many breeds that are not in the bully breed family that can easily resemble these breeds to an untrained eye. Boxers, for example, Rhodesian Ridgebacks even, pointers, any breed that is large with short hair and may have a large head. It is obvious that breed identification is not accurate with the law the way it is written, and there is a high probability of people losing their family pets that are not even mixed with the banned breed. And what is scary to think about is, while public officials are taking their time and resources and focusing them on breed-specific laws, which have proven ineffective by many credible organizations, they are taking their time and resources away from a well-worded, dangerous dog ordinance. They are taking time and resources away from enforcing animal laws that help keep our community safe. The focus should be put on irresponsible pet owners. Specific dog breeds are not the problem. People who misuse and mistreat their dogs are. Also, because of the breed-specific laws, people do not want to open business here. They don't want to buy houses here. It makes Florissant a less desirable city, and it hurts the city with a loss of revenue. Carrie Burlingham contacted us, and she works at a pet kennel in Lee Summit, Missouri. She said that she noticed that Independence, a city with a breed ban, had no kennel in the city limits. She asked her manager if they could open a location here, and her manager said they would never open a kennel in a city with breed discriminatory laws because it hurts their business. Breed-specific legislation can be seen as a quick fix to a dangerous dog problem, but it isn't an efficient solution. Breed-specific laws really should just be called discriminatory laws. They discriminate against good, responsible pet owners. They discriminate against innocent, friendly dogs, and they do nothing to keep dangerous dogs off the street. That is what dangerous dog ordinances are for. A good dangerous dog ordinance will address all dangerous dogs in Florissant, regardless of breed, and make for a safer community. I sincerely hope you consider repealing the breed-specific language here in Florissant. I hope that we can move forward like many other Missouri cities and help set the example for responsible animal laws. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening.
Thank you. Robin Benda. Hi, please state your name and address for the record.
Robin Benda, 252 Howard, Baldwin. I'm here to discuss the breed discriminatory legislation. While it is important that individual violent and uncontrollable dogs be removed from society, breed discriminatory legislation will exhaust the limited resources of the already underfunded animal control programs by flooding them with potentially unadoptable dogs. It could cost individual communities millions of dollars while providing questionable results, trying to fulfill its purpose of preventing dog-related injuries. According to the Best Friends Animal Society, the estimated number of dogs comes to 13,767 in this community. The estimated number of pit bull type dogs is only 995. Broken down, the estimated annual cost of breed-specific legislation is $47,835 towards enforcement, $12,431 towards kenneling and vet care, $1,510 towards euthanization and disposal, $7,498 towards litigation, and $9,285 towards DNA testing for breed-specific identification, totaling an estimated $78,559 annually. Best Friend Animal Society gets its information on data provided by the federal government, national dog bite victims groups, national media reports, and animal activist groups. The model utilizes nonlinear programming to determine the number of dogs in a geographical area using demographic data about the population. Breed discriminatory legislation not only hurts responsible pet owners by placing their pets at risk of being seized or killed, it forces taxpayers to pay for this arbitrary and ineffective practice. Additionally, local governments that enact breed discriminatory provisions will see their already way underfunded animal control costs increase significantly. Misguided breed discriminatory laws will cost a great deal to our citizens while accomplishing very little. Actual cost to the community's taxpayers could be much higher since these estimates do not include shelter veterinarians, increased staffing for added enforcement tasks like training and identification, seizure, testimony, or capital costs associated with increased shelter space necessary to hold these seized pets during the lengthy and mind-boggling appeal process. Please take this information in consideration. I hope we can move forward with the animal laws here by repealing this breed discriminatory law. Thank you.
Thank you. Mandy Ryan. Mandy Ryan. Hi, and please state your name and address for
Mandy
the record.
Ryan, 1524 Maple Lane in Ellisville. I'd like to first thank all of you, the members of the City Council and the Mayor, for having me here tonight. I'm here because I actually want to help the City of Florissant. While I do not reside here myself, I have many close friends and I have relatives who do. I enjoy visiting them and I enjoy spending time here. That being said, there is one thing that I'm not a fan of here in the city, and that's the breed-specific legislation. I've worked with animals since I was a young teenager. I went from assistant manager at a kennel to being a vet technician. I've participated in fostering and rescuing and dog training. But most importantly for my topic today, I worked in animal law enforcement. I was an animal control officer in Columbia, Missouri and Boone County, Missouri. In this line of work, I enforced all animal laws. That includes animal cruelty laws and vicious dog laws. Not one credible source has proven breed-specific laws to work. They actually have a tendency to compromise rather than enhance public safety. I take public safety very seriously. When your resources as a field officer are used to enforce breed bans or restrictions, your focus gets redirected from where it should be, and that's on keeping the public safe. Your focus gets taken away from effective enforcement of laws that have the best chances of making the city safer, and instead it gets focused on laws that have been proven inefficient and that have been proven to hurt the city. These laws hurt the city because they are costly and difficult to enforce. Breed-specific laws also encourage irresponsible dog ownership. As certain breeds are regulated, people who want to get a dog and train it to be dangerous are likely just to turn to other unregulated breeds. In other words, bad owners will always be bad owners, despite what they own. I can tell you that when I was in the field, I dealt with vicious dogs of all breeds, and they all had one common denominator, and that was bad owners. These dogs weren't vicious because of their genetics, they were vicious because of bad ownership, whether that be negligence or purposely training them to be aggressive. Bad ownership is where you're getting your vicious dogs. You also run into the issue of, again, criminals and irresponsible owners finding the thought of owning an illegal breed more desirable. According to the ASPCA, the rise of pit bull ownership among gang members in the late 1980s coincided with the first round of breed-specific legislation. With my experience, I can tell you that any vicious dog can and will hurt you, and any vicious large-sized dog of any breed is dangerous. I have had my life put in danger to protect the public from vicious dogs of various breeds. It's a scary situation to be put in, but like I said, I take public safety very seriously. I hope you will as well, by repealing your breed-specific laws and letting your officials focus more resources on your dangerous dog ordinance, deeming dogs dangerous based on behavior and not breed. Please join the many other Missouri cities that are repealing their breed-specific laws. Please do not continue to punish the responsible dog owners and address the real problem at hand, irresponsible pet owners. Make Florissant a safer city. Thank you for having me here tonight.
Thank you. Mandy Sullivan. Mandy Sullivan. Hi, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Mandy Sullivan. I live at 685 Madison Lane in Florissant. I'm here also to speak on behalf of pit bulls. I don't just live in Florissant now, I've actually grown up here. I lived here most of my life. I was born here. I've also spent most of my life around dogs, including dogs that some people would consider aggressive breeds like German Shepherds and Rottweilers, and including several bully mixes. I can honestly say that I have never had issues with any of the dogs that my family has owned. I've never had an issue with any of the dogs that any of my neighbors have owned, which can be a lot of different mixed dogs and such. I also had an Akita, which some people are also scared of. But I really hope you guys do take to heart what we have to say and can think about reaching out to some of the animal experts and listening to what they have to say about dog behavior and how dogs work. And hopefully we can get this law repealed and put in place a better law that helps dog owners and the city of Florissant control a little bit of sometimes of the dog problem we get. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Robert Ryan. Robert Ryan. Hi, please state your name and address for the record.
Robert Ryan, 1524 Maple Lane, Ellisville, Missouri. Hello, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. I am honored to be here tonight. This is a city where my mother was raised. I live in Ellisville, though. My family owns businesses here in the city, and I would like to see the city update their animal control regulations and laws, as so many other great cities are. I mean, this is a great city. My family's been here forever. I've never worked in the animal-related field. I've honestly never had experience with animals other than family pets until I met my wife. She has extensive experience working in the animal field, and before I knew much about dog breeds, I was a little hesitant about pit bulls. I was constantly seeing stories in the media about pit bulls attacking people, and they always looked scary to me. But after marrying my wife, I learned more about this topic. Then a Staffordshire Terrier mix named Xena won my heart. We adopted Xena when she was rescued while my wife was working in animal law enforcement. I quickly noticed traits in Xena that stood out to me. Xena has to have a blanket at all times. She's afraid of loud noises. She's afraid of our chickens. She's pretty much a big, goofy lap dog attached to my wife's hip at all times. After becoming a pit bull owner, I began to hate breed-specific laws. How could people who've never met my dog hate her? I was hurt by people enacting these laws that were once like I was, afraid and scared. Hesitant about a breed they didn't know much about. I'm hoping you'll see the breed has a bad reputation because of media hype and because of non-credible sources like dogsbite.org. My wife used to deal with media when she worked with animal law enforcement. Reporters had police scanners, and if the word pit bull came over the radio, they would call asking her if it was a pit bull attack. On one occasion, she was dealing with 3 small dogs running at large. They bit 2 people and attacked a pit bull which was on a leash. The pit bull didn't fight back and was injured. My wife was trying to work the scene, and reporters were calling her, asking about the pit bull attack. When she told them the pit bull was not the dog doing the attacking, but the actual victim, the reporters suddenly lost interest. I'm incredibly grateful the city I reside in doesn't discriminate. When we bought our house, it was the first thing we checked, the animal regulations of our new hometown. We unfortunately could not buy in Florissant as you had a breed-specific law, and we hope that you will change it in the future, as my wife and I are both, we pay our bills early and contribute to society. We both vote, and my wife does like to spend money. Because of your breed ban, we couldn't buy a house here, and we'd like you to look into the issue with an open and unbiased opinion. Please look at the facts and talk to the experts, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mary Ryan. Hi, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Mary Ryan. I live at 4553 Flat Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri. I'd like to say thank you for having me here tonight. I'm here to speak against the breed ban law in Florissant. I have some information from National Geographic that I would like to share. Did you know that only 5% of dogs in the United States are considered pit bulls? But most dogs in shelters today are pit bulls and pit mixes? I'd like to give you some history on the American Pit Bull Terrier. In the 1860s, they were bred in England and brought to the U.S. with founders. They were originally used as herding dogs and to protect livestock and families. In 1898, the UKC was formed, and the pit bull was one of the first breeds recognized. In 1914 to 1918, pit bulls were dubbed America's dog and used on posters during World War I to sell war bonds and to recruit for the military. There was a time when reports of pit bull attacks were non-existent. The sight of a pit bull walking down the street didn't invoke terror, but rather reminded people of beloved dogs they had seen in movies and in the media. Now to go over a couple of myths. Sometimes you may hear an uneducated person claim that pit bulls have locking jaws. That is actually physically impossible for any dog. There is not one dog breed that has a locking jaw. The pit bull's jaw exerts 235 pounds per square inch of pressure. This is actually lower than the national average, including all dog breeds. The national average is 320 pounds per square inch. The American Pit Bull Terrier scores better on the American Temperament Test Society than collies, golden retrievers, and beagles. There are approximately 78 million dogs owned in the U.S. today, and only 45 million of those are pit bulls. We all get sad when we see those homeless pet commercials, but did you know on average 60% of those dogs get euthanized each year? 60% of all dogs in U.S. shelters get euthanized. And of that 60% are pit bulls. Because most dogs in shelters happen to be pit bulls or pit mixes, a whopping 86.7% of pit bulls admitted to shelters in the U.S. are euthanized. A big part of this is breed-specific legislation. The big shift in American sentiment towards pit bulls began in the 1980s. By 1986, over 30 communities had instituted or were considering breed-specific legislation that targeted banning pit bulls. It wasn't the breed itself that had communities in an uproar, but the way humans were choosing to train and work with these dogs. Dogfighting, although illegal, had made a comeback, and pit bulls were the fighters of choice. Drug dealers, gang members, and other criminals seeking protection began training pit bulls as guard dogs. Today, public perception of pit bulls is starting to shift back, but there is a great deal of work to do to help people understand the true nature of these dogs. You can help by educating yourself with the truth about the breed and sharing it with others. There is no breed of dog that is inherently bad. Please take this information into consideration and repeal the breed ban here in Florissant. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Cardina. Michael? There we go. I may have. I was so close. I was so close. Please state your name again and the address for the record. Thank you.
Michael Cardenas Salas. I live at 2475 Stony End Court, Florissant, Missouri. Good evening. Thank you for listening to me. I am here like the others because I would like the city of Florissant to repeal their ban or breed-specific laws. We have been in contact with St. Louis County, and the Director of the Health Department, Faisal Khan, stated that he remains available to have any discussions with you, Mr. Mayor, or any of the members of City Council to inform you about the rationale of the county's policy on this issue. On April 30th, 2015, Drew Hain, the acting program manager at the St. Louis County Health Department for Animal Control, wrote a letter to the Public Works Department director here in Florissant. I'm going to read parts of that letter now. Recently, I was contacted by a resident of Florissant who is, by all accounts, a responsible pet owner. She has raised a puppy without incident from the Public Works Department, as well as without incident from the county-wide Animal Care and Control Program. It was not until she provided a photograph while attempting to register and license her family pet with the city, as any responsible pet owner would, that she was informed that she was in violation of Florissant's ordinances banning the ownership of pit bull dogs. She was also informed that her pet would be removed from her home, fines and fees would be assessed, and that legal action would be taken against her by the city if she did not comply with the ordinances. The question that is frequently raised during breed-specific legislation discussions, and the question I pose to you today, is why? Why does this family pet need to be removed from the home of a responsible pet owner? Why does Florissant need to invest the time and resources to remove this family pet, shelter, and care for a beloved pet whose owner already does this? Currently, the best answers that I can think of is it is in accordance with our city's ordinances, and one of our employees believes the pet meets the definition of pit bull dog. At last count, Florissant Public Works Department delivered 399 dogs to St. Louis County Animal Care and Control Center since January 1st, 2012. In 2012, almost 100 dogs were brought to the shelter by the city of Florissant. That number has steadily increased by 25 dogs per year through 2015. Of the 399 dogs, 150 of them had to be euthanized at the shelter due to aggressive tendencies or unadoptable behavior. The reason I bring the statistics up is to show the partnership with the city of Florissant. The dogs and cats at Florissant Shelter cannot support or shipped to the shelter in the county. Only 62 of the 136, or 45% of pit bull dogs that were delivered to the shelter by the city of Florissant had to be euthanized for behavior or aggression issues. Additionally, 88 dogs of the other breeds had to be euthanized for the same reasons. This shows that euthanasia of aggressive dogs from the city of Florissant Shelter is 1.5 times more likely for dogs to be of other breeds than it is for pit bulls. I hope we can work together on updating Florissant's animal laws. The purpose of animal control is to protect animals from people and protect people from animals. Let's help animal control do this by being able to spend their resources more efficiently where they do need to be spent. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, for listening tonight.
Thank you. Kimberly Ramatowski. Hi, and please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Ramatowski. I live at 1865 Gardenia Drive. I am a Florissant resident. I have been a vet tech at a Florissant vet for 4+ years in the past. I now work in animal rescue, and I would ask the Florissant City to repeal their breed ban. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is communications, of which there are none. Next, we'll have public hearings. Public hearing number 1606018.
Public hearing will be held by the Florissant City Council in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois, Florissant, Missouri, on Monday, June 27th, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. on the following proposition. To rezone for HZ Props RE Limited Partnerships, DBA Popeyes, for the property located at 955 North Highway 67 from R4 Single Family Dwelling District to B5 Planned Commercial District to allow for the construction of a new sit-down, carry-out, drive-through restaurant. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Is a petitioner here? Good evening. Do you need the projector on?
No, I think I'm okay. You all have the plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My name is Lori Clark. I represent Tate & Associates. My address is 6163 East County Road 16 in Loveland, Colorado. And
Tell us more about your plans.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have anything to put on the projector for the audience, just flip the switch if we need to point.
Right on top, to the right?
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Does it have to warm up?
Yeah, it'll get a minute. There you go.
Oh, okay. Very good. See if I have a good site plan here. All righty. I am here to present a proposed
There you go.
There we go, that's better. A proposed Popeyes restaurant at 955 Lindbergh Boulevard. We are proposing a restaurant building with an enclosed trash area, which will also conceal all of the utilities that are normally on the outside of a building. It will have adequate parking, access from Lindbergh Boulevard and St. Charles Street, and a double drive-through. We're also proposing landscaping. We are working with MSD to meet all of their standards, and we are proposing a pole sign at the corner of Lindbergh and St. Charles. So that's the abridged version. It should be noted that there were 4 staff recommendations from the Planning and Zoning Commission. They wanted to make sure that the building was going to be constructed of 100% masonry, which it will. They were concerned about the landscaping along the highway, and the landscaping has been amended to meet the spirit of the Lincor corridor landscaping. We had to deviate a bit because there were some site corner issues here with traffic. We wanted to make sure that there weren't any shrubs above 30 inches tall. And the trees were supposed to be right where the overhead power lines are. So those had to move a little bit back further from the street. And the proposed digital sign, like I say, the pole sign is supposed to have a reader board, and Planning and Zoning recommended that the graphics be limited, and we have complied with those limited graphics. And we are looking to be zoned B5.
I believe there was some discussion over parking spaces. Were there not? Did we go from 36 to 34?
There was an issue with the parking spaces, correct. According to our calculations, 36 is the minimum number of parking spaces required. We have 34 spaces. We feel that is adequate. We could have squished more parking spaces in there, except that we chose to comply with MoDOT's recommendation of angled parking and one-way traffic pattern to try and control the access that we're going to have to share with Culver's. They're expecting that to be fairly high volume access. And so we feel like that was definitely important to incorporate that into our site. And the other thing I'd like to point out is with the parking standard, the other part of that is the drive-through. And I believe that the standard right now is a minimum of 5 parking spaces or stacking spaces with 1 car at the window, and we provide room for 12 cars with 1 at the window, and we expect the majority of the business at this location to be through the drive-through. So we feel like it's a good compromise on all fronts, trying to make it work. So.
Mr. Egan?
Thank you, Madam President. My understanding, you'll be tearing down the building that's there right now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That building will be demolished, and that will be done through the building department, and so that will have to comply with all of their standards and regulations.
Very good. There's an additional building in back. Is that going to be yours as well or not?
No. This is the property line to the north, and that building is further north from there. We are creating a new parcel that does not include that second building, and it will remain in business as is, separate from our property.
And they won't have cross access, or do they have cross access with you?
They have access from St. Charles.
From your portion of St. Charles?
Not from our property.
So
no.
will they
They'll have separate access from St. Charles.
Will you be entering a cross access agreement with them, or is that going to be?
With what?
Will you have a cross access agreement with them? Will they be able to reach their property from yours?
No.
Or will you have barriers, curbs, what have you?
No, they will have separate access.
Okay. My concern, what hours of operation are you planning?
That's a good question. I'm trying to remember.
That's why I asked it.
It's like 10:30 a.m. until 10 p.m.
I know that we have another business not far from there in Mr. Jones's ward, that there's an issue with the volume of the speakers. Do we have any guarantee that you all will work with the neighborhood residents? I know there's not residents right there, but I think down on Limedale, Orangedale, that's probably the closest residents. If that becomes an issue, can we get a verbal guarantee that you'll work with the residents as far as the speaker volume?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The goal is always to be a good neighbor.
I have no further.
Mr. Jones?
My questions were all answered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hankey?
Yes, excuse me. You stated that there will be 34 parking spaces?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that was, originally was planned for 32, and Mr. Lum recommended 34?
Well, we were trying to get to the 36 number.
Right.
And we went back and we looked at the site and we squished 2 more parking spaces in there.
Okay. Well, my point would being that Mr. Lum suggested 34, and that's what you have now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Nothing further.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, in all the drawings that you gave us, I don't see anything about the sign. I don't see a rendering of the pole sign with the reader board on it whatsoever.
That is in a separate document, and I'm not sure if you got that or not.
We
And
do
I
not, because I
apologize,
don't
it's
have
not
it.
in color. Yeah, we have a whole sign package here.
Right, Mark.
Not cooperating well. So this is general idea of the sign, the dimensions, and the graphics. And like I say, the reader board will be limited to what the planning and zoning recommendations entailed.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, ma'am. We have had a Popeyes years ago in the city of Florissant. Did your company have anything to do with that one?
We do not.
Okay, thank God.
And I've heard negative commentary on Popeyes in this area, and I understand that. The franchisee, HC Props Co., prides themselves on, well-operated locations, and like I say, the goal is always to be a good neighbor.
Because I know that other one that we had, it's been a few years ago, it was dirty. I mean, it wasn't well kept, the building wasn't well kept. So I was just wondering if your company had anything to do with that, or?
You'll have a much better experience. No, our company has. That was a separate franchisee altogether.
Okay.
And this
Thank you.
franchisee works all over the United States, and he has to run his business well, or he can't keep going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment? You may want to stand there just a minute, just in case there's a public comment. Please state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name's Kevin O'Donnell, 512 Rancho Lane, Ward 4, Florissant, Missouri, 63031. I was looking at the sign here, the post sign. The thing that hasn't been mentioned is the 40-foot setback from the roadway. Is there going to be a 40-foot setback from the roadway for this this corner sign at St. Charles Street in Lindbergh?
That's an excellent question. And the answer is that the sign cannot be within the 40, it can't be
Closer.
more than 40 feet from the property line.
Right.
So our sign is slated to be 10 feet from the property line.
So from Lindbergh, how close is this reader board going to be that illuminates the message center here, the electronic center? How far is that going to be off of Lindbergh?
It's approximately 30 feet from the actual roadway.
Should that not be 40 feet from the roadway where the property line is at the roadway?
It's a 40-foot maximum.
I thought it was a 40-foot minimum.
Wait just a minute. Mr. Lum, would you like to come up just a second, please?
Could I hold my place here?
You sure can.
Questions regarding the setback line for the sign. It is it's generally a 40-foot minimum in the sign code. However, for a special use permit, or in this case a B5 rezoning, all B5s must be thought of as a custom design specific to that site. If I recall the drawings noted 10 feet from the actual sign, not the center line of the post, from the right-of-way. In a custom design, it's the obligation of the petitioner to position the sign in the best way possible, and if It is in front of that building's 40-foot setback line. In other words, closer to the highway than the 40 feet, then they need to justify why that sign needs to be there. The Planning and Zoning Commission did question that location and found that the 10-foot dimension was not to the center line of the post, which is ordinarily where you figure a post sign. So I think Mr. O'Donnell is correct in saying that, generally speaking, if it were not a B5 rezoning, that would be the regulation for a sign that anyone could come down to the building department and get a building permit for. But in a B5, the petitioner is proposing the sign, say, I believe it's closer to 15 feet from the right-of-way, 30 feet from the actual pavement. So just remember that B5 is custom designed to site-specific for that site.
All right, thank you. Mr. O'Donnell, take your place.
Thank you, Mr. Lum. I was just curious about that because there's many signs. There's a sign that's being proposed at Florissant Meadows right now, also with the reader board, and it's very close to Lindbergh, and it's in a high volume area that has accidents. So I don't know if that's on this evening's. Is that on this evening's agenda? Anyway, I appreciate your help. I was wondering about the sign because I remember that Rello tried to get theirs, and they were forced to push theirs back, and they needed more exposure. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no further comments, Mr. Childress moves to close this public hearing, seconded. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Come on up. I didn't see you stand up.
My name's Amanda Vorel. I live at 1180 St. Ferdinand in Florissant. I just bought my house, and it's an absolutely beautiful place. It's right by the park. How is this possible construction going to affect the noise levels? I bought this property because it's nice and quiet, and now I may have to deal with construction noises all night or all day. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
There will be construction noise. It will be limited to Monday through Friday. I believe 7 to 4 is very typical. And I don't think that you're going to find that the noise level, once the restaurant is operating, you're not going to see a difference between that and the Culvers that just got built next door. So it's going to be very comparable.
Mr. Egan.
Yes, one more question. Maybe that's for this lady here. Once you start breaking ground and building, how long do you anticipate that this will be take to get done?
They would like to get it wrapped up within 60 days.
So that's fairly minimum, and like you said, it'll probably be.
It's very minimal. They really strive for an aggressive construction schedule. They're looking to get open for business.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
All right, seeing no further comments, Mr. Childress. Well, we have to sort of make up our minds here. Let's hear. Mayor Schneider.
Welcome back to Florissant.
Again, Mr. Childress makes a motion to close this public hearing, seconded by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Public hearing number 1606019.
In accordance with Section 405.310 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, June 27, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize a special use permit to Jake Murr LLC, DBA DC Liquors, to allow for a package liquor store in a B3 zoning district for the property located at 39 Florissant Oaks Shopping Center. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Is the petitioner present? Good evening.
Hello. My name is James Gleason. I reside at 1475 Redbird.
You want to tell us a little bit about your business?
What we're proposing is to operate a packaged liquor store at 39 Florissant Oaks. It was formerly DW Liquors. Our hours of operation will be Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. through 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. through 1 a.m., Sunday, 8 a.m. through 11 p.m.
Okay, anyone?
Where'd he go?
I didn't know. Did Mr. Jones step out?
On purpose?
Mr. Hanky?
Yeah, could you go over those hours one more time? You're proposed to be open till 1 in the morning on Friday and Saturday nights?
Yes, sir.
Until 11 on a Sunday evening?
Yes, that's just the hours of operation. We had to give the hours of operation in case we may close it. We're planning on closing at 12, but the hours of operation had to be longer because if we're in the store after it closes, we won't get in trouble with the police.
So that if
Yes, sir.
someone's in there cleaning up
Yes,
or
if
whatever
we're
the
in there
case may be.
cleaning up or still doing the inventory.
Mr. Hessel, will you comment on that, please?
Yeah, unfortunately, planning and zoning still is confused about hours of operation. Hours of operation is the time in which they're open to the public. So when you deal with bars, restaurants, liquor stores, if they close at midnight, but remain an hour or so after that to clean up and stock and things of that nature, that's not their hours of operation. Their hours of operation is when they're open to the public.
In light of that, would you revise your hours of operation then to be
Yes.
midnight?
We were told through the Planning and Zoning Committee, actually I had 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
But they proposed that I open a little longer based on, like I said, if we're in the building, the police come by, they're saying, well, you should have closed at 10 o'clock. But if we're trying to do countdown from the drawers
Right.
and doing inventory, we're not going to close at 10 and be out of the building at 10.
Right.
That's impossible.
But in light of Mr. Hessel's enlightenment on what the hours of operations when doors open and the doors locked to the public,
Yes, sir.
would you revise those hours then, is what you're saying?
Yes, sir. The actual hours of operation is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., and Sunday 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
10 p.m., okay.
But we still had to have that extra hour. I mean, I don't
Did
know.
it clarify?
There's confusion at the planning and zoning level. You do not need those
Okay.
hours recorded in the special use permit. The hours of operation are the hours in which you are open to the public. So
Okay.
if you're closing at 10 p.m. but still involved to the public, then the hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay, not a problem.
Mr. Egan?
Thank you. I went by there today, and I think that's been a liquor store for some time, has it not?
Yes, sir.
And I saw it has a nice enclosure in back and such. Just for own edification, you're not planning any type of drive-through operation or out-the-window operation or anything like that,
No,
are you?
sir. Strictly walk in.
Okay, thank you very much.
Out the window. I like the out the window. I never heard of out the window. I'm sorry, the out the window just sort of, like, oh, a new.
I've been out the window operation.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, Mr. Hessel explained to you what I was going to bring up and explain to you also, so.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, we've spoke you guys several times. It's, the liquor store is located in my ward. We did meet maybe a week ago up there, and he took me inside, showed me everything, how the operation's going to be, what he's going to sell, what he's not going to sell. We also discussed some of the problems that the past liquor stores that were in that location brought onto our city that we did not care for. And then we're hoping that that's not going to happen again.
No, that will
Because
not
we don't
happen
put up
again.
with some of those things in our city. It looks like you put a lot of sweat equity in it so far. You've worked very hard in the inside, cleaned it all up, Makes it a lot more presentable than it was the last time. Like I said, we do have quite a bit of issues though with the last guy that was in there, so we hope we don't have that in the next one that goes there. So I'm all for your business. I hope you're successful, and I will come by once in a while myself and also purchase something.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Lee.
Thank you. I think it's been addressed, but Mayor, I would suggest in light of the confusion we've had, maybe that staff could prepare something that Mr. Lum could present to P&Z, maybe with Mr. Hetzel's guidance, just sort of that clarification, because I think it's the third time that we've had to revisit this where they're actually recommending they ask for longer hours because of that confusion. So that'd just be a suggestion. So. Yeah. Okay.
The city clerk, I met with Mr. Lum a week ago. So we've had the discussion, and I believe the message is being taken back to planning and zoning.
Fair. Thank you.
Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to comment? Seeing no further comments, Councilman Jones moves to close this public hearing, seconded by myself. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. This public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Public hearing number 1606020.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with Section 405-135 of the Florissant City Code, the zoning ordinance as amended, that a public hearing will be held by the City Council of the City of Florissant, St. Louis County, Missouri, in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, June 27, 2016, at 7:30 p.m. on the following proposition: to authorize an amendment to B5 ordinance number 6305 as amended by ordinance number 8036, to allow for the relocation of the post sign for the property located at 3025 North Highway 67. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with interest, any parties of interest have an opportunity to be heard at said public hearing. Anyone with special needs should contact city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TD 839-5142.
Is the petitioner present? Hello.
Hi.
Are you going to need the projector also?
Yes, I will.
There you go.
Good evening. My name is David Voles. I'm with Voles Incorporated, and our address is 10849 Indian Head Industrial, which is in St. Louis County, 63132. And I was actually here 2 years before you when we were first in here with the plaza and the Starbucks. So I'm representing Florissant Covenant LLC, who's the owner of the property, and what we're here is to seek an amendment to the existing V5 ordinance, which is ordinance number 6305, to relocate basically the signpost. So the site, you all know where it's at. It's on the north side of Lindbergh, west of New Halls Ferry Road. And so let me just show you where the original sign was. The original sign was actually located right here, and that was set back 40 feet off the right-of-way, so 50 feet off or more off the pavement of Lindbergh. But the problem that we had when we wanted to build that sign is there's utilities that are in the way. There's a storm sewer in the way, and there's actually a gas line in the way. So we couldn't put the sign in this location. So what we're doing is we're hoping to put the sign in this location over here in this grass area where there's basically no utilities. There is a power line right here, but we're trying to stay far enough away from the power line. So that's what we're trying to do. The sign itself,
There you go.
not intuitively obvious here.
I like the kind.
The sign itself is 17 feet tall, and it's 10 feet wide and about 7 feet high. And that's what it'll look like, Starbucks, and then the two retail users will go next to it. Read the staff report, read the Planning Commission recommendations, and the draft ordinance, and everything looks good to us. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you all would have.
Don't see any questions. Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment? Seeing no further comments, Councilman Schmidt moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Mr. Siam. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Thank you.
You can leave it on for now, just in case.
The next item on the agenda is old business. First item under old business is second reading. Bill number 9197. Councilman Lee moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Caputa. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance of the City of Florissant, Missouri, authorizing Ameren, Missouri to provide monthly successor connection reports.
Councilman Lee moves for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance of the City of Florissant, Missouri, authorizing Ameren, Missouri to provide monthly successor connection reports.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this bill?
Thank you. My name is Kevin O'Donnell, 512 Rancho Lane. Okay, the full bill says, whereas Ameren, Missouri has the capability of notifying the city when there are successors of existing utility service by residential and non-residential customers, and whereas the information is very useful for new occupancy information and for code enforcement purposes. Now, therefore, it be ordained by the Council of the Florissant, Missouri as follows. Section 1, Ameren, Missouri shall advise the City of Florissant monthly in writing when there's a change of user of residential or non-residential electric services within the city within 7 working days after the end of each month, indicating the address and the apartment or unit number and the names in which the service is connected or billed. Section 2 says, Ameren, Missouri shall submit annually to the city an invoice for its cost associated with this ordinance. The initial cost of this service shall not exceed $150. Future price increases, if any, will only reflect the actual cost incurred by Ameren, Missouri to provide this service. The city shall pay to Ameren, Missouri in the amount of the invoice within 30 days of receipt. Section 3, the ordinance shall become in force and effect immediately upon its passage and approval this evening. Okay, the full bill, I understand it to say that don't we have other things to show if people aren't living up to their obligations of when they move or whatever? Does Missouri American Water notify Florissant when there's any disconnections or new sign-ons to the water company? Is there?
I'm not sure about American Water. You believe yes? Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
This is to address those situations in which someone either vacates the premises without notifying us, or their service is cut off, so that the Public Works Department and Health Department can realize that someone is staying in a home without electricity or water.
Right.
Missouri American Water does that, Ameren does not. That's the purpose of this legislation, for health safety reasons.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr.
And we
Hessel.
do get, Meridian tells us.
Right,
when
and Meridian
trash-
notifies you, but not
Right.
in apartments. I understand that, okay?
Uh-huh.
But, and condominiums also, because there's condominiums have their own trash hauling. But this, to me, looks like an incurred expense to the city, not only that we pay Ameren, but who's gonna be doing this job? Do we have enough city employees that we have to load them with another task when we've got Missouri American Water Company giving you information? I mean, as soon as your water's cut off, I could live without electricity longer than I could live without water.
This is not something new.
No, I know it's
This
nothing
is not.
new,
This is
but-
almost like am I like correct as a renewal, that we're just renewing
Right.
what we've
Well,
always
I think
done in the
it should be
past?
abolished because it's costing us money. I don't care if it costs us $10.
But
It's
in the
costing
long
us.
run, it saves us money.
It saves us money how?
It saves us money by knowing who's in that house.
Okay.
And it saves for the health and safety and welfare of everyone in that neighborhood to know if the electric is turned off in that home or not.
Well, I could see if the water was turned off, how that would be more of a hazard.
It,
Pardon me?
Call for the question.
I don't see why we need to do this, because we've got the.
I've called for the question. He was adamantly explained that this is a safety issue. You could have your water still working, have electricity off. It'd be a health and public safety issue. I've called for the question, please.
That means it ends debate or discussion.
Okay, so this means that it passes, and then now who's?
It
now,
has not
now I've
passed
got
yet.
one
We have to
question,
vote.
Mr.
I've called for the question, please.
Mr. Egan, I've got a question for you, Mr. Egan.
Madam
Mr.
President,
O'Donnell,
the question has
it's-
been
it's-
called. Mr. O'Donnell is now out
You're
of order.
finished.
He needs to move on. No,
It's just finished.
Kevin, sit
I
down.
wanted to get
We're
to
debating this.
Mr.
Let's go on with the
Hanky.
question.
Mr. Hanky, were you going to comment on this?
Yes.
Or were you commenting on Mr. O'Donnell? I mean,
No, the comment was on this, so.
Okay.
We call for the question takes priority.
let's go this way. Roll call.
Shildroth. Yes. Hanky. Yes. Pagano.
Yes.
Schmidt. Yes. Siam. Lee. Yes. Jones.
Yes.
Egan.
Yes.
Caputa.
Bill number 9197 passes and becomes ordinance number 8238. Bill number 9198, Mr. Caputa moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Hanky. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to authorize the approval of the final subdivision plat for the property located at 955 North Highway 67 to divide one lot into two lots.
Councilman Caputa moves for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Egan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to authorize the approval of the final subdivision plat for the property located at 955 North Highway 67 to divide one lot into two lots.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Shildroth. Yes. Hanky. Yes. Pagano.
Yes.
Schmidt. Yes. Siam. Lee. Yes. Jones. Yes. Egan. Yes. Caputa.
Bill number 9198 passes and becomes ordinance number 8239. The next item on the agenda is new business. The first item in new business is board appointments. Mr. Hanky?
Yes, I would like to place the name of Paul Stock to re-up in Planning and Zoning. Paul Stock, 1220 Spring Valley Drive, to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Councilman Hanky moves to appoint Mr. Stock to the Planning and Zoning Commission, seconded by Mr. Schmidt. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The appointment is made. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to appoint Monique Walker from Ward 9 to the Youth Advisory Commission.
Councilman Lee moves to approve the mayor's appointment, seconded by Mr. Egan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The appointment is made. Councilman Jones makes a motion to approve. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a request for a full package liquor license for DC Liquors located at 39 Florissant Oak Shopping Center. Councilman Jones makes a motion to approve this liquor license request. Seconded by Mr. Childress. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Hanky. Pagano.
Yes.
Schmidt. Cyan. Lee. Jones. Egan. Caputa.
This liquor license is approved. Bills for first reading, we have bill number 9199.
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to Jake Murr LLC, DBA DC Liquors, to allow for a packaged liquor store in a B3 zoning district for the property located at 39 Florissant Oaks Shopping Center.
Bill number 9200.
Ordinance to issue an amendment to B5 ordinance number 6305 as amended to allow for the relocation of the post sign for the property located at 3025 North Highway 67.
Bill number 9201.
Ordinance amending section 510, minimum standards for dwellings, dwelling units, and accessory buildings and commercial buildings by amending section 510020 and adding a new section 510405 regarding the registration of vacant residential buildings.
Bill number 9202.
Ordinance amending Article 14, residential rental real estate by amending section 605457 and 605460 regarding real estate license fees.
The next item on the agenda is council announcements. Mr. Hanky.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Just backing up for a little bit here, Bill 9197, which became Ordinance 8238. I think a little clarification there. We have been, those of you that have followed our council at all know that we've been trying very hard to, with the housing, the code violations, the rental properties, all the things that we've been doing. This piece of legislation here will just aid us in identifying people that if the electric's been shut off or somebody else has moved in, which has been shown to be the will of the people of Florissant. The number one thing that we get is for people that are not taking care of property or at rental homes where there's issues. This is just one more piece of this puzzle to help us out with this. I think that clarification just needed to be made. Thank you.
Mr. Childress.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to thank everyone that attended our annual awards picnic last week at Dunnigan Park. It was pretty hot, and wish we would have had more folks out, but it was a good event. It was good to see the people who did show up, and I'd like to thank Mrs. Pagano for all her hard work in putting it together. I would like to congratulate all those involved in the construction of the Korean War Memorial at St. Ferdinand Park on Sunday. The ceremony was very moving and was pretty well attended. I would like to especially thank Mr. Ken Hoffman, commander of Chapter 4 Korean War Veterans Association, Mr. Walt Kaiser, Mr. Carl Hargis, Mr. Milt Herrick, and everyone involved in the ceremony. I would like to also congratulate all the winners of the Beautiful Home Awards. The two winners in Ward 5, they're on a difficult stretch of our city. One is on Graham Road. It's really well traveled, and unfortunately some people litter occasionally, and I think it's really hard to keep your property up on a thoroughfare that's traveled like that. And the other one, the Mayor's Choice Award, boy, it couldn't happen to two nicer folks, and they constantly keep their property up, and it's on a busy thoroughfare also on Washington. It's a beautiful home, and there's a lot of traffic going by there, and the Ferrars really do a great job. And I'd like to congratulate them and the Citizens Participation Committee and Mrs. Ryder, and Ms. O'Mara and her staff, and congratulate all the winners. Thank you.
Mr. Egan.
Thank you. The annual Race to the Shrine 5K run through Old Town is October 22nd. I mentioned that a little bit early now because there's a group called the Couch to 5K that is formed. So if you're on the couch and you want to race in the 5K through Old Town, you can give me an email or a buzz, and I'll put you in touch with those folks. It's a great time. The Florissant Police Officers Association will have their annual golf tournament on September 26th at the Golf Club of Florissant. Contact Captain Bowden if you want to put a team in there. If you are a Holt sponsor or you have some swag or giveaway you want to help the Florissant Police Officers Association out with. And again, that is September 26th at the Golf Club of Florissant. I would like to echo Mr. Shildroff's words about the Korean Memorial. I did learn yesterday that The city is currently maintaining 13 flags, is that right? Maybe the mayor can expound on that a little bit, but that kind of made our hearts good. That was a really neat, moving experience. Hear Judge Draper talk about her experience as a Korean War baby and how she and her husband have come and literally risen to the top of judicial politics in the state of Missouri. And last but not least, I know he's probably going to cover it, but congratulations to Mr. Caputa on becoming a grandpa for the very first time. That's all I have, ma'am. I'll let Mr. Caputa give all the details.
Yes, we will go right to Grandpa right now. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I would like to congratulate my daughter. Had her baby yesterday afternoon during the Korean Memorial ceremony. So she's a Korean Memorial baby. But baby was a month early, so she was 6 pounds, about 6.5 pounds, about 19.5 inches long. So baby's healthy, mother's healthy. I'd like to congratulate my wife being a grandmother, first grandmother, our first time grandparents. So.
And the baby's name is?
Baby's name is Margaret Rose.
There you go.
So. Thank you. Baby and mother are doing fine. Also, I would like to reiterate, too, about the Korean veteran with the construction of it, especially the street department, Kevin Green, Jason Timmy, Bobby Kraus, and Danny Pagano. They did a very excellent job on the work and the construction of the memorial. So we should all take our hats off to them, and they did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jones.
Okay, I'd like to start off with reminding everybody about Team down the street. It's our food pantry, you guys. Everybody's had their ups and downs in life. Please take time, some extra change, a couple canned goods, run it down to Team, you guys. There's always somebody hungry morning, noon, or night. Another thing I'd like to touch on is everybody keeps asking when the widening is going to take place. On Shackelford between Charbonnier and Humes. The contractor is J.M. Marshutes. It's going to be a 2-year project. They will never shut down the lanes all the way. They will keep one lane open on each side. They're running a little bit behind right now, but it's a 2-year project. So that's coming up right around the corner. I see them out there today. I stopped and talked to a couple of them. But the blocking of the one lanes is a little ways off. Another thing, everybody calling me about the speed on Lindsay. Our police officers have put one of our big speed cams out there. It's been out there for several weeks. We can keep that there as long as we can. We have a lot of kids out because school's out right now. We don't need speeders shooting up and down Lindsay Lane with all those kids, seniors, and everybody else out there. It's just not right. So. I know everybody forgets where they're at sometimes, but we need to put it in place that some of our family members are out there, so we need to watch our speed on Lindsay Lane. Another thing I'd like to bring up is about the fireworks. Our police department and our mayor has went out of our way this year to make sure our fireworks stays in check. We spend a lot of money on fireworks up at the Egan Center, you guys. Please come up there. That's what we have that for. But some of the fireworks in the past has gotten way out of hand. I mean, it's burned up people's cars, started roofs on fire. I mean, it's nothing but problems. There's a lot of legal places that we can shoot fireworks. Take your time and go over there, you guys. We don't need that stuff in the neighborhood if we ain't supposed to have it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Siam.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'm pleased to announce that Ward 9 will be having its first Neighborhood Watch program meeting. It's going to be on Monday, July 18th at 7 p.m. in the Arts and Crafts Room of the Egan Center. As well as myself, Officer DeHart, and our new Ward Captain, Andrew Mims, will be in attendance. So I hope you can come out and meet us and get involved in this program and help keep our neighborhood safe. Thank you.
I would also like to thank all of you for helping at the picnic, although, you know, we've had rain in the past, and this year we had to pick the hottest day of the year, but I do have to say there were many trees and there was a nice breeze. Snow cones went over very well, but it was just still a wonderful night. So I look forward again, and I thank you all because everybody just pitched in. It was a big joint effort. So with that being said, Mayor, how about you?
Thank you, Madam President. And Jeff, thanks for mentioning the street department for the Korean War Memorial, because that we did forget to thank them yesterday, and they did a terrific job. If anyone's ever been to the Vietnam Memorial and know how beautiful it is, concrete in and landscaped and everything, we have the exact same concept at the Korean War Memorial. They did an outstanding job. The police department did the concrete. I mean, the street department did the concrete, and it's just very, very beautiful memorial. You know, we've had a lot of, we have a very patriotic, faith-based, pro-labor community, and it has so many events, patriotic events with the veterans groups. And I tell you what, we may have equaled what we did yesterday, but we've never surpassed it. It was a very, very touching ceremony. It was very sincere. Judge Judy Draper poured her heart out about being so thankful to the American people for saving her life. Otherwise, she thinks she would have been thrown into the river near Seoul, along with a lot of other children. And so she was tearful and very appreciative. And it was a very emotional ceremony. The Walt Kaiser and all the Korean War veterans that were involved, just so thankful that they pushed the envelope. I'm glad that Todd Schmidt and the Parks Department was able to get the grant for us to fund the construction. We're not completely finished. Some of you may have noticed we took the flags down after the ceremony, and that's simply because we don't have the lighting there yet. And as soon as we have lighting, because you have to have lighting to display the flags for 24 hours. And as Mr. Egan said, it's kind of poetic that that's our 13th flag that we're going to maintain. We have 13 original colonies in the United States, 13 stripes on our flag. It's kind of fitting that for the Korean War veterans who've sometimes been overlooked and maybe sometimes forgotten, now they're the 13th flag that we're going to honor, and we're honored in a very prominent place in Ferdinand Park. We're very, very proud of it and very proud of their sacrifice. I have a date change to announce for National Night Out. We're not going to have it in August this year. It is in the focus as August 2nd. However, because of the heat, you know, we haven't had a lot of participation, as much participation as we would like. So some places have their National Night Out in October, and our National Night Out is going to be Tuesday, October 4th. So please make that correction. It's not going to be Tuesday, August 2nd. If you want to have a block party on Tuesday, August 2nd, you still can, but it's not going to be considered the National Night Out. So Tuesday, October 4th will be National Night Out. So please make your plans appropriately. Want to congratulate Caginos for providing something that many in Florissant have been wanting for our cultural activity. We have our own microbrew now at Caginos, and it's called the Narrow Gauge Brewing Company out of remembrance of our narrow gauge railroad that we had at one time, with transportation from downtown St. Louis to the end of the line, which was Florissant. And one of the families that was here then was the Conan family, and we honored the Conan family by honoring Paul Conan with a plaque on the sidewalk in our history walk. We probably had the largest crowd ever, and even if they were all Conans, it still would have been the largest crowd ever for a plaque dedication. And it was on an off night. We usually have these on Wednesday night out, so this time we had it on a Friday. There was a food truck night that night, but we had a picture. Not everybody's in this picture, and this is the most people we've ever had in a picture for a plaque. And I know not everybody is in the picture, but congratulations to the fine Conan family. Now, next week, or actually this week, June 29th, we're going to, the day after tomorrow, we'll have another plaque on the sidewalk for the Dooley family, for John and Pearl Dooley, and that's going to be at the Wednesday night out at Dooley's and Cordy's. So that, if you don't have plans for Wednesday night, come on up to St. Francis Street and we will have a good time. I think this is a hat party. Is this the hat party?
Yes.
Yeah, so wear a hat. So everybody wear a hat, and not just a ball cap. Wear something interesting. Yeah, wear an interesting cap.
Can't wait to see yours.
That's the hat party already. And on July 1st through 4th, on July 4th holiday, we have brand new tennis courts up at Tower Court, so I've arranged for Wimbledon weekend. Wimbledon tournament, the oldest tennis tournament, is held for a couple weeks, and that's right in the middle of it. Usually it finishes on July 4th, but this year it's not. It's just going to be in the middle of the tournament. But anyway, Old Town Donuts and Fritz's is going to have specials for anyone in tennis attire with a tennis racket on July 1, 2, 3, and 4. So even if you're not playing tennis, pretend you're going to play tennis and bring your tennis racket to Fritz's and Old Town Donuts, and you'll get a deal. And I think Fritz is going to have strawberries and cream those 4 days, which is honoring Wimbledon. So I did that one already. Florissant schedules, and like Mr. Jones, I appreciate what he said about the fireworks on July 4th. We have a tremendous fireworks display on July 4th at the Egan Center. We have a concert preceding it, the North Winds Concert Band. And, you know, it's not just the fire hazards and so forth, but people lose fingers and eyes, and there's serious injuries. We had 2 National Football League players last year lost their fingers. One of them was a wide receiver. So can you imagine what kind of pay cut he took? You don't want that to happen to your child. I mean, we had a lot of teenagers last year shooting fireworks off, and they were shooting off the big stuff. And, you know, it's just, we just don't want somebody to get hurt in Florissant. And it annoys the heck out of the dogs. And, you know, so we care about dogs. We don't want the, and we care about people too. It annoys people and it annoys their pets. We got the Splish Splash Summer Bash on July 8th at Coke Aquatic Center. This is a fun night for 5th through 8th graders. We have 4 events. We have a Halloween event. We have the event, Project Liftoff, right before the holidays, and then we have a skating party in March for the 5th or 8th grader. This is to promote our DARE program, and we have a great DARE program, and it encourages kids to say no to drugs and to say no to tobacco, alcohol, and violence. And it's a great program, and I really appreciate the involvement of our police department. The Saturday night concerts are going to start right after July 4th. We're going to have July 9th, the SSJ Rock Band, and then 16th, Coco Soul, 23rd, Boeing Employees Concert Band, and they're also going to have on July 30th, Butchwax and the Hollywoods. Theo Peoples is going to be here from the Four Tops, and we're going to fly Smash in from Arizona for the Smash Band concert on August 6th. Smash was absent without leave last year. He said if we help him with a little airfare, so we're going to fly Smash in for August 6th. August 13th, Billy Peak, 20th, Rockin' Chair Band, and 27th, we end up, the last Saturday night concert is Fanfare. We got Bob Cuban coming for October 9th at the Fall Festival. Lastly, the seniors are at it again. We got the Stars and Stripes Forever, Friday night, July 15th, and now this is not just Florissant. This is going to have Florissant seniors, Ferguson, Hazelwood, St. Anne's, Bridgeton, and Maryland Heights all joining together to offer this outstanding dress-up and a big band event, and I hope the council will help me welcome them to Florissant. Thank you.
The next meeting of the Florissant City Council will be held on July 11th, 2016. Councilman Caputa moves to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Siam. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.